Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back in our Fortnite video, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about how to get better and also how to improve here in Fortnite Chapter 2. I'm going to be talking about everything you guys need to know in order to get better and also to improve here in this new season. And before we get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway for Fortnite Chapter 2. If you guys want to be entered in this giveaway, all you guys have to do is to drop a like on this video, subscribe to my channel, make sure you guys turn on my post notifications so you guys can get notified for every single new video, and as well, leave a comment down below of your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account, and you guys will be automatically entered into the giveaway. And real quick, if you guys want to support me as a creator in the item shop, my code is Younghumor. So if you guys want to support me, definitely put in my code. It helps me out a ton. I definitely appreciate it. And alright guys, let's get right to the video. Alright, so in this video, I wanted to be talking about how to get better and also how to improve here in this new season. So there's a few different things, and I really want to compare it to last season because the way to improve in last season is definitely a lot different, and you have to do a few different things versus improving in this season. And this mainly has to do with the changes that they recently put into the game with the new update. So as far as map changes, as far as pretty much any change, as far as mobility, items, everything like that, they made up quite a few changes, and it's actually kind of crazy how many things they vaulted going into this season. They vaulted, launch pads, they vaulted just a bunch of different guns that a lot of people didn't really use too much anymore, but they've definitely vaulted a lot of things. It doesn't really change the game. It really does change the game in a drastic way, but it more changes it and makes it a little bit more simpler, I guess you can say, rather than having a bunch of different items. Because there was a lot of items that were in the game that were completely useless that I really didn't use too much. So when it comes to getting better and when it comes to improving in Fortnite, I think the fastest, because I think it's really important that and there's a lot of different things you can improve on, but I feel like if you want to improve in the fastest way possible, you really want to focus on what's going to give you the advantage what's going to give you the advantage the quickest, and you really want to focus on exactly that thing. So when it comes to the previous seasons, or specifically last season and Fortnite, one thing that is basically, I think, is the biggest change, other than of course the map, which I'll get into, is just mobility. There's no hoverboards. They definitely take out the four-wheelers. Those were in the game for a little bit, but then you had the mech, and a couple seasons ago you had the planes. So you had a bunch of different mobility items in the game, and as far as right now, the only mobility you have is the boat, which is actually kind of crazy. You could literally drive it on the land, which I think is pretty cool. You can't drive as fast as if you were in water, but you can drive it on the land. And it's just one of those things that really doesn't make you go too much faster. Definitely is a major help when it comes to rotating from zones, because in zones, like I said, there's no mobility, so you don't have like launch pads or anything like that. You're pretty much just on the ground running the entire time. And this plays a huge role on improving, because that's just one of those things that you really have no control over, and that's not going to be a factor in the game. Because when you have mobility like launch pads, there's definitely a lot more strategies that you can use when it comes to rotating, challenging other teams, and just strategies along those lines. So you definitely have a lot more options when it comes to mobility, but now it's not in the game, and that's going to play a huge role on what you really should be improving on if you want to get better at this game. Because like I said, there's a lot of strategies that you can use that were really effective with the launch pads, but since it's out of the game and also a couple more changes, it's just not going to be viable anymore in this season. So with most of the mobility out of the game, and also some of the weapons they took out, the game definitely feels a lot more simpler. It almost feels like back in like season 2 or 3, when it was just mostly gunfights. There was building. Of course, there's a lot more building now than there was in like season 2 or 3, but it's still really, really simple. There's not a whole lot of extra junk, not like planes. There's no tanks in the game or anything like that. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. A lot of the gunfights you're going into are going to be just gunfights. No one's going to have some crazy OP weapon or crazy OP or anything like that. That's going to give you such a significant advantage in the fight, which I really do like. I think that gives it back to the core of Fortnite. And with that being said, that's probably the biggest route to take. And I think I would say it's the best route to take if you want to improve very quickly and improve very fast at this game. And that's just going to be focusing on your individual gunfights, improving on gunfight skills, because like I said, you don't have to worry about strategy on rotating. Of course, I think without the mobility, you have to rotate earlier so you get to next zone, but that's just really the tip. That's not really more on how you improve. So improving, I would focus specifically on trying to get better at gunfights. So I guess aiming and building were, I would say, the top two things to get better at. Because when it comes to Fortnite, there's a ton of different things you can do. You have IQ, you have game sense. I mean, you just have a ton of different things. I mean, even I feel like even placing traps fast could be a very good skill, because it's really a lot easier to place traps on PC than it is on controller. But there's just so many different things in the game that's just gonna change it up, and different things that you can work on at the exact same time. So I think the best way, if you want to improve in the fastest way possible, like I was saying at the beginning, the improving in the fastest way possible is just going to be trying to focus on the most important things. And I think building and aiming are going to be the top two things for this season. There's no telling what kind of things they're going to add in the pre. Hopefully they don't add some junk and, add some tanks or any type of BS like that. But I feel like for the most part, I don't think they're really going to do anything too crazy if they end up boosting like a little bit more mobility. Because I feel like they will, because it does feel a little bit on the slower end. I really don't have too much of a problem with it, but it does feel a little bit on the slower end. I kind of wish they had launch pads still in the game, or at least just like something, maybe like a launch pad that pushes you like half the distance, but at least something that you can use to rotate a little bit more quick, not like something too crazy. I think grapplers would be too much, but something in between the middle, I guess, would be, I think, a good idea or a good addition to the game. But as far as right now, since that's not in the game, I think aiming and building are going to be the top two things to focus on. And when it comes to improving on building, I think your best bet is, to practice in creative, I guess, certain type of builds, but also at the same time, building in creative and building in an actual game when you're getting shot at by like 3 different guys is going to be completely different. Because in creative, you have all the time in the world to build. I mean, you can build smooth. Because personally, I see a lot of people build smooth and creative, but once they go into the game, people don't really build smooth because it's really not the best way to build. Because if you're getting shot by 3 different players, building smooth is not going to be your best bet, because you want to be building as fast as possible so it can look cool for clips and just like creative type of builds. But for actual games, you just have to focus on building as fast as possible. And you're really not going to get that experience unless you're playing an actual game, because once you're getting shot by 3 different players, you definitely have to think a little bit more on your toes and protect the angles that you're getting shot at. So I think that's really important. So when it comes to improving on building, I would say if you're trying to learn like a new mechanic, I would say creative is the best way to go. So like maybe different high ground retakes. Maybe if you're still not good at 90s, even though it's the next chapter, whatever the case may be, whatever mechanic that you want to improve on, I think creative can be a really good way to do that. But once you get down the mechanic pretty well, you definitely want to take that to actual games, because in actual games, when you're going against people in public matches or arena, you're going to get shot at from multiple different angles. People are going to be attacking from different sides. So it's just going to really put that to the test, I guess you can say, and it's just going to make it a little bit harder, just for the simple reason it's going to be a lot more unpredictable. And that's just going to be the overall reason why I think creative can be really good. But if you really want to get better fast, after you have the mechanic down, hop into games and then work on doing that in games. I think that's a really good way to improve your building. So when it comes to improving that second part, so aiming, one thing they do consider is they did change the aim assist. They're making you use the new aim assist. When you put on the legacy settings and you're using the old one, and your old sensitivity, it would allow you to use the old aim assist, but now it doesn't let you, which is pretty unfortunate, and it's just something you have to get used to. Because with the old aim assist, I personally liked it better because it was much more snappy. You can lock on a lot quicker for those close range fights. And this aim assist now is a lot more focused on tracking. I guess longer ranges and medium ranges, it has a little bit more of an advantage. But I personally like the old aim assist. But now, since you are forced to use the new one, there is a few a few changes that you have to consider, and it's just something that you have to get used to and you have to practice with. And for those of you guys who already were good at aiming, like I was already pretty good at aiming, my aim does feel a little bit off. So this one just honestly takes a little bit of time to get used to. So there's not really too much I can talk about when it comes to aiming. But I mean, you could try doing aiming courses, or you could just practice on hitting your shots in game, really just focusing on, maybe if you want to improve your shotgun aim, really focusing on that game, improving on shotgun shots, maybe really trying to focus shotgun aim. Then you can focus on SMG aim or maybe assault rifle aim, because aiming with those different weapons is going to be very different, because someone could be very good at hitting shotgun shots, could be very bad at hitting assault rifle shots, because the mechanics of using those two weapons are going to be completely different. So you have to figure out what guns you feel like you're lacking at and you're not as good at, and I would definitely focus on and improve on those weapons that you're not as good at when it comes to aiming. And I think that's the best way to improve when it comes to your accuracy in this game. And with that being said, that's wrap up for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys liked it, make sure you guys do drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn on my post notifications so you guys are notified for every single new video. And alright guys, I'll see you next video.